There's been a lot of talk online recently, a lot of chatter about militias, about survival groups. What types of people should you have around you if we were ever to face a without rule of law scenario? Shit, it's the fan, end of the world as we know it. People make long lists of skill sets. So many of this, so many of the other. Well, there's one characteristic you never see listed, and it's the singular characteristic that you need to survive. Fun fact, name the last time the U.S. military was deployed overseas and came back having achieved 100% of its missions. Total victory, complete and utter defeat of our enemy. Afghanistan? Well, clearly not. Iraq? Yet to be seen. Operation Just Cause. The U.S. military deployed to Central America to overthrow a dictator, and we did just that. Every single mission objective was achieved. It was also before there was a term widely known today as toxic masculinity. You see, that is the characteristic you need. If you don't have men willing to do what men do and commit violence, you're lost. And that's just the facts. You can accept it, you can ignore it, you can talk Poindexter way all you want about different skill sets. But the reality is, when the chips are down, are you going to have men willing to do what is necessary and not worry about the feelings of others? Last night, over the Twitch channel, I had a California feminist show up, pretending to be a fan, and attempt to castigate me for this point. Attempt to correct me, attempt to fix Florida Man. And was completely taken aback when I didn't just accept her correction and acknowledge that it was appropriate for her to fix me. Now, if you want to hear a replay of this, it went on for about an hour, and some of my regular viewers described it as pretty epic. And I'll admit, I got a little heated. Because there is no way I'm going to let anyone, feminist or otherwise, dictate to me who I should or who I should not be. Make no mistake, ladies, there's going to come a day when you're going to look around and you're not going to find any men, actual men, willing to fight for you. You're going to find a bunch of beta guys. The guys that want to go to the beach to maybe put down a couple of shots and girl watch. You're going to wish those guys were around. Mark my words. Our governor, while he's married now and has kids, was a member of the United States military, and he knows what is required. There are those who have taken him to task over him standing up the Florida State Guard. Well, let me see if I can put this in proper perspective so that people can understand what's really at stake. Who remembers A Few Good Men? We live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's going to do it? Who? You, Charlie Crist? You, Nikki Fried? Our governor has a greater responsibility than you could possibly fathom. You weep for those who we've lost, and you curse the military. You have that luxury. You have the luxury of not knowing what he knows. That those deaths, while tragic, probably saved lives, and our existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives. You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want us on that wall. You need us on those walls. We use words like honor, code, loyalty. We use these words as the backbone of a life spent defending something. You use them as a punchline. We have neither the time nor the inclination to explain ourselves to those who rise and sleep under the very blanket of protection we provide and freedom, and then question the manner in which we provide it. We would rather you just said thank you and went on your way. Otherwise, we suggest you pick up a weapon and stand a post. Either way, we don't give a damn about what you think your rights are. And that's the reality. Now, some are probably out there shaking their heads. That's just the way things are. Florida has a great many tools at its disposal. We have dozens and dozens of some of the most advanced attack fighters, F-15s, F-18s, F-35s, F-22s, and we've got lots of them. And we've got lots of money, and we've got lots of pilots willing to fight and stand and defend the state of Florida. But make no mistake, our greatest asset is our veterans of all ages. And those of you out there who are veterans, down in the comment section, you better back me up on this. What's the first thing you learn in the military? No, it's not ballistic weapons. No, it's not how to do push-ups. It's how to work as a team. And you don't even make it out of stage 1. You don't make it out of basic combat training unless you learn how to work as a team with a whole bunch of people you never met before, that you may disagree with, that have different strengths and weaknesses. That's what basic combat training is all about. You see, what if you're thrown into a group that wasn't of your own choosing? This is, of course, fictional Walking Dead. But what do we know about all these people? They didn't choose to be in this group. It's just like the military. You see, there's one quality that's going to rise above all others: the ability to work as a team and not really worry about your enemy's feelings. That's what all the yelling, all the shouting, all the knife hands, all that's about. It's about establishing a fictitious, stressful situation. You see, that's why sometimes I use fiction, because all of the yelling, nothing bad is going to happen to you in basic training. Nobody's going to kill you in basic training. There are no live rounds being fired. So they have to create a fictional, stressful situation to see how you're going to react. And you spend most of your time doing things that are mind-numbingly boring. But you do them. Everybody does them. Everybody does them every day. It's called discipline. This is a quality that you should look for beyond any other skill set. Discipline, the ability to work as a team, and not really caring about the feelings of your enemies. I've used these images in other videos. You see, this is a soldier early in his training. He's under stress, and he's showing it. He's sweating. He's got his teeth clenched. This is a soldier who has been trained. Yelling, screaming, surrounded, eyes straight ahead, calm demeanor, not being affected by everything around her. Not picking on this guy, but this is early in training. This is later in training. This is what it's about. And what is this really about? It's about control of your mind. And to put a cherry on this sundae, when they tell you to prepare for basic training in the military, there's absolutely zero preparation that has to do with ballistic weapons or any skills. It's all about physical preparedness. And really, it's about discipline. They make you do something every single day. Full body 1, warm stretching routine. Full body 1, warm stretching routine. Full body 1. This is your first week. They don't even have you running until week 3 of your 60-day prep. And it's almost all warming up and stretching, but getting in the habits. Patriot Nurse put up a video very, very, very late last night. Actually, I think it was kind of early this morning, about who should be in your survival group. These people are solid. And she makes a stunning admission here. Now, she's an RN. She's an RN. And she said one of the groups that she would have, types of people that she would have in her group, would be paramedics, EMTs. And she says, I know for a fact they've sunk more airways than I have. Meaning, of course, intubating people. Now, imagine that. I mean, to be an RN is an incredibly high level of nursing. To be an EMT, I'm not taking anything away from it. But what's the difference? It has to do with experience on the ground. Experience on the ground. And she said, I would defer to them every time because they've practiced it. They've done it. They know how to do it over and over and over again. It's just part of their job. So someone who has the ability to work as a team, someone who has the ability to understand what the real goal is, the long-term survival of the group, if they're someone who has done that over and over and over again, maybe that's somebody you should consider as well. Florida Militia, flmilitia.org. There are people that show up at the militia meetings and at the training that are disabled. Some are overweight. Some have incredible challenges. Some are grandfathers, grandmothers. And this is the part that's probably going to make some people upset. You're going to have some Shanes in your unit. Those who've watched The Walking Dead know who I'm talking about. You're going to have some Shanes, some ability to get right up in the face of those who are exhibiting cowardice. You're also going to have some Merles in your group. Some people that perhaps don't have, the popular perspective on cultural direction. Let's just leave it there. But are willing to do what's necessary. And you're going to have some Andreas, some realists. This particular character in The Walking Dead. And remember, basic training is fiction. All the stress they're creating, attempting to mimic what things would be like on the battlefield, they're creating a fiction. So this is fiction as well. See, she didn't know the first thing about ballistic weapons. She didn't know the first thing, but you know what? She came up to speed. She came up to speed real quick. And I promise you this, if this had been a real scenario, and she had not been killed off, and he had not been killed off, and this character on the right had not been killed off, that group would have been a hell of a lot better off. And that's just the case. That's just the reality. So, humbly, I submit. People in charge of their minds. People who don't care about the feelings of the enemy. Perhaps those with a little bit of toxic masculinity might help you sleep a little better at night. Because you just never know. You see, we all have failings. We all have flaws. We all have things we need to forgive in one another. Every one of us. And that's the real story of the Bible, by the way. Those of you who think, oh my gosh, you like girls in bikinis and you're just talked about doing a couple of shots of tequila or rum or whatever. See, it's about forgiveness. It's about forgiveness. It's about understanding what the real mission is. Mark my words, the day is coming. The day is coming when you're going to wish that you had men around you that enjoyed a drink or two, a few beers, maybe a couple of shots, and they like to watch girls walk up and down the beach in their bikinis. You're going to wish that day was here. Because when you look around now, is that what you see? If not, you could be in trouble. And I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.